So now I want to share with you what's available for academic progress monitoring and what these look like. And then I'll also share about some behavior progress monitoring tools. Academic progress monitoring has drawn largely from a body of research around something called curriculum-based measurement, or CBM. Curriculum-based measurement is a way of measuring student performance in basic academic skills, and it was developed at the University of Minnesota back in the 1970s. The purpose for the development of CBM was to track progress of students with individualized education programs in this new system that came into being in 1975 called special education. And so researchers at the special education program at Minnesota came up with a variety of curriculum-based measures that would be able to detect changes in student performance over time. CBM can be used anywhere from weekly to monthly. And an important reminder is that a lot of research since then has shown that it's important not to go more than 4 weeks in duration between measuring academic skills, because any longer intervals will compromise the reliability of the data that are collected. Most of the time, we recommend that students who are participating in academic intervention will complete weekly progress measures. And if you don't have the resources to do weekly, you can go out as far as monthly, but we recommend you do not go beyond monthly or the data might not be interpretable. Now you'll see that the time required for different progress measures can be anywhere from 1 to 20 minutes. The 20-minute time slot is longer than we would really like to see, but for some skill areas, available measures right now are requiring longer periods of time. This is because the nature of what's being measured requires students to complete more items to accurately confirm their skills on that particular content. Certainly, researchers are working to reduce that time, and many researchers in the field are looking to establishing progress measures that will be no longer than 10 minutes per session. Now, in terms of format, in the original days, all of the curriculum-based measures used for progress monitoring were going to be teacher-administered, mostly paper and pencil forms. Sometimes the student would need to write some responses, particularly for math. And in the area of reading, students would be working from a paper form and reading for the teacher. In recent years, a number of researchers have developed some computer-based versions of curriculum-based measures, and these have made it easier to conduct progress monitoring because they are not as time-intensive for teachers, in part because multiple students can complete them at the same time on a computer, and the teacher does not have to score the items and then enter them into a database. They are automatically scored and saved. And this is a big time saver for teachers. So at FastBridge Learning, we have a number of different academic progress measures that can be used for conducting progress monitoring. And so you'll see here, we've broken them down in terms of what are available for reading and what are available for math. The area of reading right now, we have 3 distinct types of progress measures. One is called early reading, and early reading is a type of early reading assessment that's specifically designed for monitoring progress of students at the very first stages of learning to read. It's typically going to be used with students in kindergarten and first grade. However, it can be used with older students who might be coming to learn to read at 2nd grade or 3rd grade. But it has a number of different subtests that can be selected. And when you use early reading for progress monitoring, it's a matter of selecting the specific subtest that is aligned to the skill the student's learning. So if a student is learning letter sound correspondence, then our subtest called letter sounds could be an excellent progress measure. If a student is working on specific skills of phonemic awareness, we have several subtests that measure phonemic awareness. As students go on in their reading acquisition, the assessment that is widely recommended is called CBM reading. CBM reading is a type of oral reading fluency assessment, and it is our most widely used curriculum-based measure of reading. And that's not just true for FastBridge, that's true, I think, nationally. Within CBM reading, we have 20 different passages for each grade level. And so students are going to read out loud for 1 minute while a teacher marks any errors. And this will provide information about a student's overall reading improvement while participating in intervention. Finally, a new measure that FAST offers is called auto reading. Auto reading also has subtests, just like early reading. However, it offers some subtests that fit with the skills that older students might be learning, including some subtests that measure things such as vocabulary and prefixes, suffixes, and the meaning of words through morphemes. So together, these are different tools that could be used to measure students' reading improvement while participating in intervention. We also have tools in the area of mathematics. You start with an early math assessment. Just like early reading, the early math assessment is a suite of a number of different subtests. And when used for progress monitoring, it's a matter of selecting the specific subtest that matches the skill being learned. If a student is at the stage of learning a skill such as matching quantities to numerals, we have a subtest called match quantity. The subtests do increase in difficulty and will go on to include subtests of things such as determining the least or most in an array of numbers, as well as a number of other early math skills. Then moving up in the grades, there are progress measures for mathematics that we call CBM Math. And we have 3 distinct types of these. One is called CBM Math Automaticity, and this assessment provides a measure of how quickly a student can identify and provide the correct answer to math fact problems. And the fact problems are organized through a developmental sequence, starting with addition and going all the way through division. Then next we have one called Concepts and Applications, which is an assessment that asks the student to apply math skills to a variety of problem types, including word problems. And then finally, we have an assessment called CBM Math Process, which is an evaluation of the student's skills applying the right steps or procedures to multi-digit math problems. I'll point out that both automaticity and concepts and applications are computer-based forms of progress measures, whereas early math and CBM Math Process are ones that are individually administered or group administered by a classroom teacher. So now let's look briefly at what we could do to monitor students' behavior progress. Behavior progress monitoring is certainly also very important, and in recent years has gained more attention in regard to how we can improve students' overall behavior skills so that they know the right behaviors to use in school environments. The way that behavior progress monitoring typically works is for somebody to conduct a classroom observation of the student. And the person conducting that observation could be the classroom teacher, or it could be another educator who comes into the classroom. The frequency for behavior progress monitoring is different than academic. And this is because of how certain behaviors can really interfere with learning for that individual student and other students. So we recommend that progress monitoring for behavior be done daily so that we can track improvements in students' behavior on a more frequent basis to help make improvements and get everybody back on track with learning. As you'll see, time allocation for those observations can include 15 minutes. In some cases, there are types of observations that might be done over a longer period of time. However, research indicates that a 15-minute observation is enough to be able to adequately and accurately track a student's behavior progress. And then most of the time after conducting that kind of observation, the teacher will have captured the data in real time in the classroom, and then after the fact will enter the scores into a computer, so it makes it easy to provide reports and analysis of student improvement in behavior. FAST does offer one progress monitoring tool for behavior, and it's called the Direct Behavior Rating. This is an adaptation of a tool that's been used pretty widely in the last 20 years or so in schools called the Daily Behavior Report Card. Direct Behavior Rating is a much more customized and individual approach to mapping student behavior because each student will have slightly different behaviors of concern. That the DBR tool is available for teachers to set up individualized progress monitoring for students around those concerning behaviors.